Well, hello. This is a quick navigation voice thread or YouTube for week 2. It will go right here on your home page for week 2. Kind of a nice comical thing. You might want to look at this. There are all these steps people like to leap over, so I've tried to articulate the steps as carefully as possible so that you'll do well on the first formal essay. It's always about knowing the content before you write. Anyway, this is navigational, so I try to keep it a little bit quicker here, okay? So we're going to getting ready for the essay that's due Friday, the 26th of June, the end of week 2. I did provide about a 15-minute overview that cuts off at 15 minutes actually, but just to give you an idea of the texture of the book, I think it's good to get your bearings on it because the book can at first seem really complex the way it seems to bounce around, but this will let you know that it's really on the same topic. The challenges of not only discovering the virus that causes AIDS, but also having the political will to have a legitimate response on the national level. I've hosted recordings of the book. I recommend that for everybody, especially second language students. If you can read while listening to the recordings, a lot of your grammar, spelling, pronunciation errors will just, evaporate in the air. So I would recommend it, especially for second language students at whatever level. It's just very useful to hear it. And then I also have a link to a Google Book version if you haven't got the textbook yet. So this is kind of an orientation page for the reading, and I'm going to move it over a little bit because I want you to see the next button. And then from there, brief explanation of opportunistic infections. You have to understand with this disease, they knew what was killing people, all these strange opportunistic infections, long before they knew why people were getting sick this way. So they didn't understand. There's no HIV virus. They didn't understand why people who should be healthy were dying of these strange illnesses. And then maybe with this short voice thread here, you can get an idea of how the progression to AIDS works. But at the same time, keep in mind that there's no AIDS right now. Up to June 5th, 1981, there's absolutely no awareness. All we know is people are dying mysteriously. So you kind of got to get that in your head. That'll be really helpful. And then basically the strategies, the flyover collection, that's your first reading. Get a general feel for the story in those first 78 pages. The next part, getting down to selection, focusing on those parts of the story you'll discuss in your essay, rereading, generating ideas. Think of the kid on the stairs at the first page of this. Go through the steps, looking for the best quotes to support your ideas. I have a voice thread that'll help guide your second reading, and I also have a link to the file, this Word document discussed in the voice thread. Only after you've done that, only after you've gone granular on those 3 people you want to write about, first in the discussion on Tuesday, the 23rd, and then in the essay due Friday, only then are you ready to write. So I try to get this thing going: collection, selection, reflection. People like to start with reflection. I'll just write the essay, but they don't know what they're writing about. They don't have their topics. They don't have their quotes. And the other thing I like about it is that if you're having trouble writing, go back to your notes. Do you have good topics? Do you have good quotes? If you don't have good topics and quotes, go back to the reading. Don't just stare at the page. Go to the preceding step if you don't know what you're doing. And if that doesn't work, go back to the book. Know where your work is. And ideally, you won't write until you have a really good feel for exactly where you're going. I remember doing that for years, filling a kitchen table up with note cards and knowing exactly where I'm going. And then when I did that, the essay, the writing was the easy part. 80% of the time was getting ready to write. So keep in mind those steps. Try to go through them very thoughtfully. And then getting prepared for formal essay 1, I have this set up here, narrowing your topic, getting your topic, sentences, and quotes. It's kind of a repeat. I put the VoiceThread from the preceding page, just in case you didn't have it. And I give you an idea. It's a 3 to 4 page essay. The structure and introduction, who, what, where, when, and why, plus a thesis. That is context, what are you writing about? And thesis, what do you want to say about it? A model for an ICE paragraph. 3 to 4 body paragraphs and a summary conclusion. Kind of a standard essay at this time. 3 or 4 pages. Somewhere in there. Okay. Not looking at length, looking at focus. And then finally, to prepare for the essay, you've got discussion 1 due Tuesday, and then the second part due Wednesday. And that's where you share your ideas. That's almost, it's first your individual contribution to the class discussion, and then through the responding to each other's discussions, that's how the classroom meets, is that we can respond to each other's work, compare our ideas, and get a strong feel for what we're writing about. And I think that's about all I have right now. The next step will be to write the prompt for essay 2. I haven't yet, but I've got to get going now, and I'll put that in shortly. I just wanted you to navigate your way through the steps so that you're ready to write for the essay that's due next Friday. Hope this helps. You can always email if you have questions. All right.